So as the Head of Integrated Commissioning at Cheshire East Council, my role is very much sort of how we look at developing social value within my own organisation, but I'm also part of a social value network across Cheshire and Merseyside, and a number of you may also be part of that network. But just to recap on some of the work that we developed going back a few years now, our starting point was a social value charter, which we co-produced across Cheshire and Merseyside, and it was a cross-sector co-production activity, including public sector, voluntary community faith, social enterprise sector, business and industry. And the link, I think, was shared to individuals on the call today, but you can access the existing social value charter through the slides if you want to have a look at that charter. But I'll be talking through some of the principles and the core principles that we co-produced through that piece of work. Just go on to the next slide, Mandy. So I just really, again, wanted to refresh and remind you of some of the core principles which we co-produced previously, because they're all still very, very much relevant. And I think it would be really useful to think about some of these core principles that we previously co-produced. And hopefully the aim of today's event will help you to sort of build on some of these principles and to grow and develop them further from an anchor institution perspective. So I'm sure we'll be having lots of conversations which will build on some of these themes and principles that we previously identified. So some of those key principles are about taking assets-based and capability approaches, how we contribute and develop social value across Cheshire and Merseyside to contribute to making it a better place to live, how we work together, again, that cross-sector principle, and all of the work that we do as organisations in partnership across sectors has a huge impact in terms of building and fostering innovation to reduce avoidable health inequalities, obviously linked to the Marmot principles and some of the priorities that Graham's previously spoken about. It's really important for us to work collectively together to protect health and care services for future generations. It's really, really important to give local communities a voice. And also the way that we work is about embedding social value and their core principles and behaviours into the way that we operate across the board within our organisations and how we work together. Next slide, Mandy. Obviously, and some of the work that we want to talk about today is about reimagining social value. So it's how we achieve social value and the impact that we make, but it's also the process and the sort of the process that we take to get to that impact and the end outcome as well for local people and places. So there's something really interesting about us as organisations in terms of the way that we work in an ethical way in terms of shaping and achieving outcomes. Obviously, from a number of organisations' perspective, we commission or purchase services, or we may be purchased to deliver and provide services. So it's really important to embed social value across the whole commissioning cycle, whether that's the design, the development, the monitoring, the whole process. Basically, it should be embedded. It's about making every penny count. It's about creating social innovation. And also it should be inclusive, so social value is for everybody. And it's about creating a lasting impact and legacy for local people through the way that we deliver social value. And also, and again, a lot of people on the Slido put that one of the reasons that they're here today is about learning. So the Social Value Network was very much about sharing, learning and best practice with regards to social value, which is really important. Next slide, Mandy. And again, one of the core principles that we identified was cross-sector collaboration. We can't do this alone in isolation, so it's very much about how we work together within the public sector, across health and social care, across voluntary community face, social enterprise sectors, and with business and industry. So it's about how we all collectively work together to achieve some shared ambitions and local impact for local people. So today's event, as we've said, is very much about an opportunity for us to collectively reimagine what social value is and what it can do for us locally, and taking it into that space of sort of anchor institutions. So as well as purchasing or commissioning services and delivering services, we also need to look at our impact in terms of the partnerships that we create or the partnerships that we have in terms of our assets, whether that's physical buildings or our people, the people that we work with, or our communities, as organisations in terms of how we employ people as employers, from an environmental perspective. So again, thinking about that means to an end way of thinking. So as we developed certain activities to achieve social value, will it have any broader consequences, such as on the environment, for example? If you just move on to the next slide. And one of the key tools that we have also created and developed to embed social value across Cheshire and Merseyside was the creation and development of our Social Value Award. We work in partnership with an organisation called the Social Value Business, who administrate the Social Value Award on our behalf. And again, we have a number of organisations who've been successful in achieving the Cheshire and Merseyside Social Value Award, and there's a couple of them on the screen there, but we've now got I think almost 45 organisations who've been successful. Again, a mix of organisations, whether that's public, private, voluntary community faith sector organisations, really large infrastructure organisations, down to really small community groups, all equally making a massive difference locally across Cheshire and Merseyside, and really achieving a huge impact for local people and places. So the Social Value Award is an opportunity or mechanism to enable organisations to make a pledge around social value, to understand their impact, and also to celebrate their work in terms of the difference that they are making locally within our communities. This is an opportunity for all of us to apply to be part of the Social Value Award. But I know Graham mentioned earlier on in the session that it would be great to see some local examples, so what's tangible in terms of the difference that we're making. And some of the pledges that have been made through the Social Value Award has provided us with some of those clear, key, sort of tangible examples of the difference that people are making across Cheshire and Merseyside. So again, if you haven't applied to the Social Value Award, it's a really, really simple process. You can access the Social Value Business website. There's a really simple portal that you can apply, submit the information, and if successful, you're then able to use some of the tools to celebrate your success, like the logo on the screen there. So I would really urge anybody that hasn't so far really to apply for the award. And this is, again, an opportunity for us to look at those organisations that have made those pledges, to see how we can build those connections across those organisations that have been successful as well. So that's just a little bit of a snapshot in terms of some of the work that we have developed so far. And I think it's a really good opportunity to grow and to build on some of the existing amazing work that's already happened across Cheshire and Merseyside. Thank you.